So we are talking about anger. What makes you angry? As you can see, this couple here, they are not happy with each other. You might say that they have become angry. They are not very happy about their situation, especially at work. I think one of the hardest social interactions to actually deal with must be work colleagues, because you have no choice. It's a little bit like families, really. You have no choice as to who your relatives are. But the other thing is, you also have no choice who your work colleagues are. So maybe if you work in an office and you are surrounded by people, and maybe some of those people are not very nice, or maybe they are just annoying, maybe they make you angry every day, it can make the work environment much harder to deal with. I think so. So what about you? Do you ever get angry? There are many ways of expressing that feeling of rage. You can say that you are angry. You feel angry. It is one of those negative emotions that I suppose we all feel from time to time. I do, even me. And people do say, Mr. Duncan, we can't believe that you get angry. But I do sometimes, not often, I have to say. It's been a long time since I've really got angry about anything. You might also get annoyed, something that is making you feel angry, but very slowly. So if something is annoying you, maybe it is doing it very subtly. Maybe it is doing it on a very small way, or in a very small way. Minor anger, or something that is annoying you a little bit, can slowly build up over time. So you might feel that your anger is slowly building up. It is slowly growing. You are becoming annoyed. So we often see annoyance as something that is there, but it doesn't make you completely angry. It is happening slowly. Maybe your neighbour has a noisy dog. Maybe it keeps barking every morning, keeping you awake. It is an annoyance. You feel annoyed by it. You might also feel irritated as well. An irritated person is a person who is bothered by something that you hear or see. You feel irritated by it. People can be very irritating. They can really irritate you. They might also make you angry or cross. So this is another way of expressing anger. You feel anger. You feel cross. I always find that quite an interesting word to use as a synonym for anger, to be honest. You might also feel furious. A furious person is a person whose anger has already built up to a very high level. That person feels angry. They are furious about something. They are finding it so hard to contain their anger. They feel furious. You might be infuriated by something. So this is something that might be happening again and again, and slowly it is making you angry. You feel infuriated. Your anger is building up inside you. It is slowly building. You feel infuriated. Enraged. A person can feel enraged. Their anger is growing. The emotion of anger. They are beginning to become angry. They are enraged by something. Of course, we did hear the word outrage earlier. And the word outrage, again, is very similar to enraged. You feel angry about a certain thing, a certain topic, or maybe something a person has done. Incensed. Ooh, yes. A person can become incensed when they feel angry or they feel annoyed about something. They are incensed. Again, you might hear a person say something. You might hear a person express an opinion that you don't agree with. It will make you become incensed. I like that word. Here's another one. Riled. Riled. So this means that something, an external force or an external thing that is out of your control, is making you feel angry. Something will rile you. It is making your anger grow. Maybe a person who is noisy, maybe a neighbour, maybe a friend who keeps calling you and complaining all the time about things. You might feel slightly riled by it because it is annoying. It is something that is making you feel angry. You become irate. So this is the result. You might say that this is the result of the feeling of anger. You become irate. As your anger grows, you become more irate. Here's another one. You are fuming. A person is fuming. A person is showing their anger. So their anger has reached a high level. They are now fuming. They have turned red. They look angry. Maybe they are sweating and shaking because they are so angry. They are fuming. They have reached the peak of their anger. Seething. If a person seethes, it means they are fuming, they are angry, seething. That person is very angry. They are seething with anger. You might describe a person as livid as well. That person is so angry. I was livid. My neighbours were having a party last night and they were playing loud music and I was livid. It made me angry. You become livid. Maybe if a person becomes so angry they turn red. Maybe their face will glow with a red colour as their blood pressure rises. We can say that person becomes incandescent. They are glowing with anger. They have become so angry that they can't hide their emotional state at all. Their blood pressure rises and they quite often become red. You can say that that person is incandescent. They are literally glowing with anger. You might be up in arms over something. If you are up in arms, it means you feel very angry about something. You feel enraged by something. Maybe in politics, maybe a politician has done or said something that makes you feel angry. Then you might be up in arms. You can be beside yourself with anger. That's better. You can be beside yourself with anger. You feel so angry, it's almost as if you feel as if you've left your body. You feel beside yourself with anger. Your anger has grown to a very high state. We can say that a person will blow their top. They become so angry. They blow their top. A person will blow their top. They become so angry. My boss came in and he started complaining to me, and I'm afraid I blew my top. I got so angry. I blew my top. I lost my temper. I became angry. You might feel outraged. Of course, we've already looked at this word this morning. Outraged. You might feel outraged. You might feel anger over a certain thing or a certain situation. The word outrage, of course, is the noun. It describes that feeling of being angered by something. You lose your temper. A person who loses their temper is a person who reaches the point where they can't control themselves anymore. You lose your temper. So the word temper is often used to mean control. You have control over something. You have a certain amount of control over a certain situation. You are able to stay calm. You control your temper. You are able to stay calm. However, the opposite is also possible. You might lose your temper. You become so outraged by something that you can't control yourself. You lose your temper. You have lost your temper, if we are talking about something in the past tense. You might go mad at someone. To go mad can mean go crazy. Maybe you lose control over your mental state. But also you can go mad at someone when you are angry towards them. Maybe you shout at them. You scream at them. Maybe you go over to them. Maybe you want to physically assault them. Please don't do that, by the way. You might also lose your cool. If a person loses their cool, it means they are no longer calm. You lose your cool. You have become angry. You have lost your temper. Here's another one. You freak out. A person who freaks out is a person who has really lost their temper. They have become so angry. They freak out. Maybe you hear something that annoys you. Maybe your temper will rise and you become angry. You freak out over something. Maybe something you've heard. Maybe something a person has said. You become so angry you freak out. Here's an interesting one. This is often used in American English, but I think you will find it is used a lot in British English as well. You have a cow. You have a cow. You become angry. You lose control of yourself. You have a cow. You go into a rage. You become so angry. You go into a rage. You lose your temper. Temper is emotional control. So quite often we will use this word, as I mentioned a few moments ago. The word temper means emotional control. You have control of your emotions, and that includes your anger. I will stay relaxed. So these are now opposite words. So this is the opposite of angry. A person who is not angry, a person who is able to deal with all the situations, is relaxed. These days, it is hard to stay relaxed all the time. Some people say that it's very difficult to keep your cool and stay relaxed. Talking of which, we can also use the word cool. You keep your cool. you stay cool. You don't lose your temper. Or maybe a person who never loses their temper. They never become angry. We can say that person is cool. They have a cool character. A person who often agrees with other people, or maybe they don't like to make other people angry, you might say that person is passive. They don't lose their temper. They don't have any strong opinions about anything. We can say that person is passive. A person might be mild. They are very calm and controlled in many situations, even bad situations, even in situations where things go wrong. A person might be chilled. They are chilled. They are calm. They are very relaxed. I'm sure many people know someone like that, a person who is always chilled and relaxed. A person might be described as mellow. That person is laid back. The person is mellow. They are calm. They are relaxed. Here's an interesting word. Maybe you haven't heard this word before. Placid. A person who is placid. Again, we can use this word to describe someone who is always calm. They are always relaxed. They don't seem to become angry very easily. They are placid, calm, and relaxed. A person who is level-headed. A level-headed person often sees everything from both sides. So you might say that that person will try to see both points of view. They won't always lose their temper. They won't be angry at someone for what they say, because they appreciate that people have different opinions. So they very rarely lose their temper. They very rarely become angry. Hello, Archie. Hello, Archie. Nice to see you here today. Archie. And I think I can see on your little icon that looks like Doraemon. Hello to you. Christina is here. Hello, Christina. I didn't notice you here today. Thank you very much. Vitas says, rule number 1, women are always right. Rule number 2, if a woman is not right, rule number 1 applies. So don't forget, if you want to have a quiet life, and I'm talking to all the married men right now, a person who is even-tempered might also be described as having a level head. You are even-tempered. So you never become annoyed or angry at other people, and there are certain people who are like that. They very rarely lose their temper. We often describe them as even-tempered. A person might also be described as mild-mannered. I suppose when I think of that type of character, I would often think of Clark Kent, who sometimes turns into Superman. But normally he is mild-mannered. A person who is mild-mannered is fairly calm and likeable even. You might also be described as easygoing. An easygoing person is calm and laid back. They never lose their temper. Good-natured. Again, we can describe a person who is often calm, or maybe they never seem to lose their temper or become angry. We can describe them as good-natured. They are a person who is always happy and treats everyone equally. It doesn't happen very often though, especially these days. A person who is unflappable. You might describe someone as unflappable if they are always calm. They never seem to become angry. You can't make that person angry. Whatever you do, they stay calm. They stay reasonable. You might describe someone as being as cool as a cucumber. If you are as cool as a cucumber, that means you are calm. You always stay calm. You keep your hair on. You might tell a person who is losing their temper. So this is something you might say to another person if they are becoming angry. You might say, keep your hair on. Don't get angry. Calm down. Calm down. Keep your hair on. It's a great expression. We might also tell someone not to lose their shirt. Don't lose your shirt. Keep your shirt on. Don't lose your shirt. Keep your shirt on. Don't lose your temper. Stay calm. And we can also say that a person will see red. So a person who becomes angry, quite often we say that when a person is angry, they see red in front of them, because that's what happens. We often describe it as the red mist. The red mist is anger, because quite often you will lose control of your emotions. And some people say that when they become angry, they see a red mist. So if a person is seeing red, it means that they are becoming angry. They have became, or they've become incredibly angry. So what about you? Is there someone in your life, someone you know, who makes you angry? What makes you angry? Is it unfairness? Maybe when you see a person treating another person unfairly. Or maybe when a person is saying something that you disagree with strongly. It might make you angry.